Hello and welcome back to Lack Plays. Today we're continuing our never before heard of indie game expose and review series. We're doing Shattered Hourglass as our game today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Shattered Hourglass is a traditional JRPG style story game with multiple endings, lots of characters, and rich dialogue. It introduces itself in a very story-based format, and you'll play through a very rudimentary tutorial that teaches you the basic controls. This game draws heavily from its roots, reminding me strongly of Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy, and it does also draw from Pokemon with some of its stats and abilities and the way that you treat the characters in the games. The big selling point for which the game advertises itself is its multiple endings and developed story. The developer behind this game is known as Sawworm Games, and they produced this game over 8 years before it actually ended up on Steam. Now I just want to take a second to commend Sawworm Games for actually continuing this game for 8 fucking years. That is impressive as hell. Congratulations. With that said, let's get on to the analysis points. The pixel art and environments of Shattered Hourglass are really pretty as far as indie games go. I've seen some pretty terrible stuff over the years, and this certainly isn't terrible. It's pretty competent work, and it looks quite decent. The thing that I begin to have an error with in the graphics is the consistency. Some of the characters that are portrayed look very different styles from each other, especially the enemy that you fight at the beginning. It's not done in the same pixel art style, and it clashes a bit. I think that some of the environments do look a little bit either empty or cluttered, but then again, I haven't played more than an hour of the game, so I can't say for sure whether this is a prevalent issue in the later stages of the game. Only that in the earlier game, the first stage seemed empty, and then the second stage seemed filled with trees that didn't need to be there. Overall, the graphics are fairly competent. I'm only deducting points because of those inconsistencies, so this leaves it at 3 out of 5. One thing that this game gets right is immersive gameplay. It gets you to feel like you're a part of the world, that you can interact, and that you have freedom despite having limited options to do. Now, my big problem with gameplay was at the beginning of the game where I started playing, and I spent a good 20 minutes stuck in the first sector, having no idea where I was supposed to go. This falls under game design, really, but I'm going to put this under gameplay because I don't have a game design section in my videos. So, I got stuck in that section for a good 20 minutes and almost rage quit, just because I could not figure out what I was supposed to do. Despite that hiccup in my own playthrough, I did have a lot of fun, especially in the boss fights. They were interesting, they were witty, and they were pretty exciting to get into. It made me look forward to the boss fights that I did come across. So overall, 4 out of 5 for gameplay. So now the question of if the game was fun. I'm gonna say yes, this game was fun. I did severely enjoy, well, severely is a negative connotation, but I did enjoy the gameplay with the boss fights quite a lot, and I enjoyed the dialogue. Some of it was quite funny. It did impede on my fun, the fact that I couldn't get out of the first room, but I'm sure that could be fixed quite quickly with a little bit of level redesign. I think the big issue with creating a new JRPG is the fact that there are so many out there that have such a good reputation, and you're trying to draw in people who are playing Pokemon and Final Fantasy to play your new game, when all they want is the sequel to those games, because there's always going to be another Pokemon, there's always going to be Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 13, 14, 15. They just keep coming out, and I mean, there are so many colors, I'm sure that Pokemon can keep thinking of something. so it's quite a difficult genre to break into. However, you can differentiate yourself with a good story and good writing and good design. If these couple of issues that I've mentioned were fixed, then I think this game could really shine out as something special, because clearly Sawworm Games has put a lot of effort into this, and it does show. It really shows. It's an impressive piece of work, having so many different branching paths, so much writing, so much lore and depth to the game. It stands out in that sense. It's by far the most intricate game that I've reviewed on my channel so far. And there'll be a link down below if you want to check it out yourself. It's not that expensive if you want to try it and support Sawworm Games. That just about covers the potential that I think this game has. So for this video I did reach out to Sawworm Games and asked for a bit of background and the like on his game, and I'll read it to you. When I first started Shattered Hourglass, I had no idea how to design or make a game. The project was actually a training course for me. The first 3 chapters of the game took 2 years to complete. I got burned out with my game and released my final chapter 6 years after the release of chapter 3. It took me about 8 years to finally release it on Steam. I've never given up with my game, even after being burnt out with it. I always want to add something and change things, constantly adding patches and listening to the community. Now this, my friends, is a brilliant design philosophy. With that said, I'd love it if you could go check out the game yourself. It's not too expensive, like I said. They're also working on a new game as a group of people now called Castle Greyrot, if you'd like to go and wishlist it. Thank you for watching. If you've made it this far into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like and commented your favorite color. I'd love to know. Also, consider subscribing. I do content most weeks and try and do my best to be interactive with you guys. So hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in the comment section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Love you all. Bye.